The wind howled down the empty street, carrying with it the sharp bite of winter. People hurried past, their scarves pulled high, their heads bent low, desperate to escape the cold. But on the corner, under the flickering light of a street lamp, stood a little girl. She couldn't have been more than 9 years old. Her coat was thin, her shoes were worn, and her tiny hands trembled as she clutched a wicker basket filled with pastries. Every few seconds she whispered shyly to passers-by, "Sir, would you like to buy a pastry?" Most ignored her. Some frowned and walked faster. A few muttered irritably, "Move along, child, don't stand here." Her eyes filled with tears, but she stayed rooted to her spot. She had one desperate hope, that tonight she could sell enough to buy medicine for her sick mother waiting in a drafty apartment. A sleek black car slowed to a stop by the curb. Its door opened, and a tall man in a tailored coat stepped out. His presence was commanding, his face sharp and cold. It was Edward Blake, one of the richest men in the city. People knew him as a ruthless businessman, a man too consumed by success to care about anyone else. The girl's voice shook as she lifted her basket. "Sir, please, would you buy a pastry?" Edward looked at her for a long, silent moment. Her small figure shivered in the icy wind, her lips blue, her eyes full of fear and innocence. Finally he spoke. "I won't buy a pastry." Her heart sunk. Another rejection. She lowered her gaze, ready to step aside. But then his tone changed. "You're coming with me. From now on, you'll live with me." The little girl froze. "What? But my mother, my home?" Edward's eyes softened. For the first time in years, there was warmth in them. "I'll take care of your mother, too. You'll never have to stand out here in the cold again." He followed her to the broken-down apartment where her mother lay sick in bed, wrapped in a thin blanket. Without hesitation, Edward called a doctor, paid for her treatment, and arranged for both mother and daughter to move into his mansion. Weeks passed. The little girl, whose name was Lily Parker, no longer stood on icy corners. She now wore a clean school uniform, carried books, and walked into classrooms filled with laughter. Her mother, Emma Parker, regained her strength under proper care, finally free of the constant worry that had haunted her life. As for Edward Blake, everything changed. For years he had been surrounded by wealth and power, but his world was empty, silent, and cold. Lily's laughter filled his mansion with life, and her smile gave him something he had never known: peace. Months later, at a glittering business gala, Edward was invited to give a speech. The audience expected him to talk about profits, mergers, and success. "I've built towers, companies, and fortunes, but none of it compares to the joy of saving one life. One night I chose not to buy a pastry, but to buy a chance at life. That decision gave me more happiness than all the money I've ever made." The room fell silent. Then, from the front row, Lily walked to the stage. She slipped her small hand into his and said softly into the microphone, "He isn't just the man who saved us. He's my father now." The hall erupted in applause. Many wiped tears from their eyes, moved by the moment. That night, everyone saw a new side of Edward Blake. They realized that true wealth isn't measured in bank accounts or real estate. It's measured in kindness, in second chances, in the lives we touch. For Lily, a basket of pastries led her to a new family and a bright future. For Edward, her smile gave him what billions never could: a heart, a home,